Sheffield United for another West Ham gossip with your man Anton. A couple of players we're going to discuss with you today, but one of the players potentially on the radar of West Ham, I think he's on the radar of a lot of other clubs in the Premier League, is Callum Wilson, that man who, you know, that famous night, it was a Boxing Night against West Ham, fans won't forget that one, and then obviously this season we've seen him make that measly run and score that goal when Bournemouth defeated West Ham at the London Stadium. So, you know, Callum Wilson is 26 years old. He's just made his debut for England, which has probably catapulted his pricey tag he's potentially coming with. He's scoring goals this season, and he has scored quite a few goals in his career with Bournemouth. He's an out-and-out centre-forward. In his career with Bournemouth, he's played over 120 games, scoring nearly 50 goals. And his other attributes are assisting goals as well. He's assisted about 14 goals. I really like this player, I'm not going to lie. The one downside is he's had two really bad knee injuries in his career. He has bounced back and come back from it. But if he does complete this season, that will be his first full season not injury prone since 2015. So if he comes with a hefty price tag, I would be really worried that we would be taking a risk. Therefore, what would we be willing to pay as a club? Now, the rumours are that Chelsea and some other clubs are sniffing around them, but we can't deny that Eddie Howe has done wonders with this guy, considering he's coming back, or has come back from two really, I mean, you're talking ligament damage injuries. So that's the only real concern I've got regarding Callum Wilson. Is it realistic? Possibly. It could spark this whole transfer move between clubs. So we heard yesterday that Marko Arnautovic was potentially out the door because of a bid from a Chinese club for 35 million plus. I don't believe it. I don't think it's going to happen. But, you know, are we going to fault a guy if he's going to get offered crazy amount of money per week to stay at a club? But if Arnautovic was to go, and I'm not saying he is, West Ham would be in the market again for another striker, and Callum Wilson could fit that really well. What that also might do is spark, I mean, if he does go to Chelsea, it could free up Giroud, which is another player we've been potentially linked with in the past. So you can see how this move could really spark that and the domino effect of players moving back and forth. But of course, I'm predominantly talking about Callum Wilson, who has scored 28 goals in 81 appearances in the Premier League, with 7 assists in the Premier League. So over the last 4 seasons, he's averaging 20 plus games per season. So, you know, and this seems to be so far, touch wood for him, his best return in games to goals ratio. What are we looking at in Callum Wilson? Some people are saying there's similarities to Jermaine Defoe, but there is a difference between them. He's got an eye for goal. He wants to score. He's desperate to score. But he's also a team player, but also has the ability to be an out-and-out number 9. He does a lot of selfless running for the benefit of the team. So he's got an eye for goal, and he catches the eye of the audience. I like him. I do like him. It's just I don't know if this is going to be realistic because, as we know ourselves, young English forwards who score goals in the Premier League don't come cheap, and there's always a 10-15 million pounds price tag added on top of whatever they were worth before. So there's rumours saying that Chelsea are kicking about, potentially may have to pay up to 50 million for him. I don't think West Ham will pay 50 million for him, but I think if there was a deal to looked at that was maybe 30-ish plus million, then that's something that, you know, me personally, I'd like us to see us doing. But there are risks attached to him. But we will see. We are the West Ham gossip. We're going to let you know all the gossip that's kicking about. So maybe keep an eye on that one. That's an interesting one. And we'll move on to the next guy. Next up on our transfer gossip today is Divock Origi, currently playing his trade at Liverpool. The Belgium international is 23 years old and is rumoured to be linked with a move to West Ham. Of course, we're potentially going to be in the market for a striker. So let's just kind of discuss what his attributes are, positives, negatives, and how many goals he has scored over his career. Predominantly, he is a mixture of a forward and an attacking midfielder, and previously playing his trade in France, he was playing a lot from the wide position. So in his career, he has actually, for club, country, European level, played over 180 games, scoring 37 goals with 11 assists. So if you use that as a comparison for a player that plays out wide quite a lot, that's actually not a bad return for someone who is predominantly wanting to be a striker. It depends. This all depends on how much money we could potentially get him for. Although if we were to go for him, I can potentially see it being a loan deal. Liverpool will get the benefit of loan to buy, so they'll make sure he doesn't play against West Ham if he does come to us. He's a young Belgium international player. He's obviously the golden generation of those Belgium talented players. So previously started his career at Genk and then signed for Lille in 2013. He only scored 14 goals in 73 games, and obviously that's not a very good ratio for a player with the great qualities, but he mostly played out wide during those games, so it's not a bad, reply of goals, I suppose you could say. He was signed by Liverpool, obviously back in 2014, and then loaned straight back to Lille just to get some experience. He plays both as a wide player, as I've said, and as a striker. As a wide player, he has the ability to beat players when in a one-to-one situation, and he can create space for himself. As a space is created, his range of shooting with both feet can help his side score goals. So it's great to have a player that potentially could have the chance to shoot from both feet. His ability to bring the ball back and on the safe side from the defender to release it onto a teammate, therefore keeping possession in a dangerous area of the pitch. Holding up play is just a big thing that I think any striker, big striker, is a good attribute to have. Throughout the 2014-2015 season at Lille, he was used more as a forward, scoring 8 goals in the process after starting 16 games. So 1 and 2, great ratio. Coming back for a player that predominantly was used in the wing, and he's just a big, tall lad. He's 6'1". He's got a really good aerial ability, and he can really jump high. He's got that kind of that bounciness that you need, and a great upper body strength. In terms of weakness, though, consistency is probably the biggest thing with Origi, and just consistently providing that at the top level. Although everything I have said has stated the fact that he probably needs to be used a lot more up top. So his goals and assist ratio coming back for the amount of games he has played, considering he played a lot of those games out wide, is all right. So Origi is a name that's been floated around for West Ham to be connected with for a while, and he will be looking for a lot more game time. I know he's been playing some of the cup games, probably coming on as a sub, and Liverpool want a strong squad. But Liverpool are probably going to be in the market again. They need to add depth to their squad continually, and as we do, all potentially depends on what happens with our forward line. But for me personally, I'm not massively over the moon by this link, but has it got potential, and has he got potential, and do I trust Pellegrini? Absolutely, more than any manager we've had in a long time. So can he get the best out of it? And all we have to do is look at players like Robert Snodgrass and a lot of the players in and around our squad, and he's bringing the best out of them. So maybe he sees something in Origi, and yeah, that would be positive. I suppose one benefit about Origi is he's got Premier League experience. He's been in the Premier League since 2015, and he's scored nearly 20 goals in the league, but not starting a lot of games. So like I said, a good return. He's obviously a team player as well, so let's see if this can turn into something. Make sure you get the comments in. Do you agree? Would you like to see Origi come to West Ham? How much would Liverpool accept? Would it be a loan to buy deal? We don't know. This is all very big, strong rumours, so obviously you're watching the West Ham gossip. I'm Anton. Come on, you Irons.